Hello guys! So welcome sa 6th episode ng ating stock review ngayong 2026. So marami din also nagre-request sa inyo na bigyan din natin ng focus yung isang company na nasa gaming sector or gaming stock. So yung bibigyan natin ng focus ay ang kumpanyang DG Plus Interactive Corporation. Okay, so dito sa ating website marami tayong mga information na pwedeng matutunan about sa information ng kumpanya. Okay, so ang gagawin natin ay gagawa ko ng slides para mas maintindihan natin ito ng mas malinaw. Okay, now, disclaimer lamang also, itong kumpanya ay meron akong ownership. Okay, so as of the moment, dito sa aking Call Financial account, ako ay negative ng 23 or 24% dito sa aking investment. Okay, so dahil marami nag-request, gagawa natin ito ng video at hindi tayo magiging bias, magiging patas tayo sa pagre-review sa kumpanyang ito. And also, kung gusto mong matuto kung paano mag-invest sa ating merkado, kahit zero knowledge ka today sa fundamental analysis at fundamentals lamang yung gagamitin natin sa pag-invest, huwag ka maglala kasi meron ako ditong PSE Warrior Academy na kung saan tinuturo natin dito yung structure videos na So pakalabas mo dito sa academy na to, magkakaroon ka ng malawak na approach at idea at magkakaroon ka ng malaking confidence sa pag-invest sa ating merkado. Okay, so nasa comment section lamang yung link nitong ating website. Today, ang kanyang current share price ay nasa 14.20 pesos ng time na nire-review natin ito. Market cap nag-range ito from 63 to 71 billion pesos and ang kanyang 9-month 2025 revenue ay nasa 66.83 billion pesos. Based doon sa ating research tool at research process, ito yung ating nakuhang highlights. So in terms of forward PE ratio ng kumpanya, meron 3.8 times samantalang yung industriya na naandito ay nasa 4.6 times. So in comparison to the multiple valuation, in terms of forward PE ratio, nasa undervalued stage ang kumpanya. In terms of that, PE ratio. Na ang kanyang dividend yield ay nasa 5.5% and 5.5 to 6.2%. At if we are going to focus na sa investment highlights natin dito, yung kanyang explosive digital growth no first quarter of 2025, lumago ito kasi ng 69% year over year. And that's contributing to 23 billion pesos because of scale digital platform like Bingo Plus, Arena Plus, no? So ito yung pinaka structural shift to mobile entertainment dito sa ating bansa. And also nagkaroon ito ng asymmetric valuation. So ibig sabihin, kahit na bumagsak ang kanyang share price today, yung kanyang valuation kasi ay nasa 4.9 times to 5.4 times PE ratio lamang. Despite of double digit growth and also the EV to sales of 0.58 times, ini-implies lamang nito na ang kanyang market is pricing in decline scenarios rather than continued execution. Okay? And another highlights dito sa kumpanya today ay meron siyang fortress balance sheet, no? So mamaya tatalakayin natin ito ng mas malalim kasi meron siyang net cash position that provides a safety margin and optionality. The companies generate substantial free cash flow supporting a nearly 6% dividend yield while self-funding the growth. Okay, this is the investment highlights na nakuha natin sa kumpanya. Now, ngayong 2026, ano yung focus natin? Okay, so number one is yung platform expansion. Because of growing game zone and additional new verticals, another is yung engagement deepening, okay? Personalization and data-driven retention ay yung ecosystem mode. Yung payment system or payment integration and loyal loops, okay? So, next slide tayo. Ito yung mga matututunan mo ngayong araw dito sa pagre-review natin sa kumpanya. Number one is yung company overview, market opportunity, competitive advantage, financial performance, valuation metrics, growth driver, risk factors, investment scenarios, and also investment thesis dito. Okay? So next slide tayo. So now, company overview. DG Plus Interactive Corporation is the pioneer and market leader in Philippine digital gaming transformation traditional entertainment into scalable mobile first experience. So ibig sabihin, Sila pala yung kauna-unahang nag-transition sa ganito pala. So ngayon, ano nga ba yung mga brand na mayroon nitong kumpanya sa loob? Number 1 is yung kanyang Bingo Plus. Okay? So sa Bingo Plus, nandito pala yung digital bingo ecosystem. So naandyan yung first licensed online bingo platform in the Philippines. Meron din silang live stream games and community features and high frequency season-based engagement. So yung revenue contribution nito ay dominant share pala. Okay? Number 2 ay meron silang Arena Plus. So yung Arena Plus, ito pala yung sports betting platform. Sa mga, kung nanonood kayo ng NBA, PBA, pwede kayong mag-bet dito pala sa platform na ito, no? Another is real-time streaming integration, and also this is the official partner pala ng PBA. Okay? So this is the fast-growing segment of DG Plus pala, no? Another is Game Zone. So ito yung micro-entertainment hub, expanding library of skill and chances game or chance game. Lower entry point for mass market, focus on casual gameplay mechanics. Yung pinaka-rule pala nito ay makaka-capture ng mga users para makapunta sa platform, no? Kasi kapag nakandun sa platform, syempre, yung mga tao mahilig sa mga sports, 'di ba? Pwede sila mag-bet sa sports, or mahilig sa bingo, pwede sila maglaro ng bingo, no? Now, next slide tayo. Dito tayo sa market opportunity. This is the Philippine gaming sector growth trend, guys, no. So in first half of 2025, sa industriya ng GGR, ibig sabihin ng GGR, gross gaming revenue ay nasa 214 billion pesos pala ito. That's a 26% year over year. Ito source natin Pagcor, no. So, kung titignan natin, no, if magpo-focus tayo sa Philippine gaming market forecast, okay? So, noong 2023, yung online electronics gaming revenue ay nasa 58 billion pesos lamang, while the land-based casino or yung mga traditional na casino na tinatayo, no, na pinupuntahan ng karamihan ay nasa 250 billion pala ito. Now, fast forward to 2025, okay? Ito ay nasa 135 billion pesos yung estimate dito, and 310 billion pesos. Pero kung titignan natin, fast forward to 2028, yung estimate ng karamihan pala dito sa online ay nasa 315 billion pesos. And sa land-based ay nasa 375 billion pesos yung potential dito. Now, kung titignan natin, halos magiging level pala ito pagsapit ng 2028 based sa forecast na nandito. So ibig sabihin, yung digital acceleration ay sobrang taas, no? Ibig sabihin, kung titignan mo to, yung online segment growing at 2 times the rate of traditional land-based casino. Okay? Now, ang tanong, ano nga ba yung growth driver, no, ng pagtaas, ng biglang pagtaas ng online casino? Okay? Kung titignan mo dito, digital shift, online gaming share rising rapidly, yung projected to reach 40 to 50% of total GGR by 2027 as mobile adoption deepens. Okay? So sa dumadami na rin yung mga pumapasok sa transformation to online, mas marami na rin at makakapag-create ng mas malaking revenue based sa industriya ng gaming. Another is demographic dividends. Ibig sabihin, yung young tech-savvy population combined with rising disposable income drives entertainment spending. Another is yung e-wallet integration, no? Seamless payment via GCash, Maya, lower barrier to entry for mass market participant. Pero yun nga, nagkaroon nga ito ng issues, no? Mamaya patatalakayin natin ito. Yung payment system. Dati kasi nakalink talaga ito dati sa mga GCash, Maya, sa e-wallets. Nakalink yan ng mabilisan. Isang pindot mo lang, nandiyan agad, nakaka-cash in ka na. Pero today, inano yan, no? Niregulate. Okay? And also, pagdating sa Asia rank, number 2 pala ang ating market. And in terms of internet user, nasa 85 million pala yung gumagamit today. Sobrang dami palang gumagamit. And also, meron itong CAGR na nasa 12%. So this is the market opportunity na nakikita natin sa sector ng gaming. Now, next slide, financial performance of company, no? Itong performance to ng DigiPlus naman. Yung first quarter of 2025, nasa 23 billion ito, and if we are going to compare sa first quarter of 2024, nasa 13.6 billion lamang ito. So, ibig sabihin yung paglagon ng kanilang revenue umabot ng 69%. Okay? And yung 9 month of 2025 revenue umabot ito ng 66.83 billion. Umangat pa ito ng 30%. Okay? However, dahil nga sa pagbagsak ng kanilang performance, ayan, nung third quarter of 2025, kasi dito na nagkaroon ng mga regulated ang mga online casinos, no? Kasi marami ngayon na lulong sa sugal, no? That's the negative effect naman. So ni-regulate ng gobyerno, kaya bumaba ang kanilang quarter revenue nung third quarter. Nasa 18.67 billion pesos na lamang ito. Okay? So yung note natin dito, no, nung third quarter of 2025, yung revenue and earnings so temporary compression due to regulatory adjustment on e-wallet link. Management maintain guidance for gradual recovery as alternative payment channel scale. Okay? So structural demand for digital entertainment remain robust. Okay? Now, next slide. Revenue analysis natin. So this is the peak level talaga ng company. First quarter and second quarter. Yun nga, pag third quarter, bumagsak ito. Okay? So yung key performance driver nito, syempre nung first half of 2025, okay? Yung momentum dito nagsimula kasi ito, no? So yung strong adoption of Bingo Plus and Arena Plus, so ito yung drive sa company sa pagtaas ng performance niya. Sa pagtaas ng performance, ganun din, sumabay din ang kanilang share price. Okay? Now, syempre nagpagsapit ng third quarter, katulad sinabi natin kanina, nag-temporary dip ito due to the removal of gaming link from major e-wallets. Okay? Another is its structural outlook, yung recovery natin. So underlying user demand remain intact. Yung fourth quarter is expected to show stabilization as new payment integrate and seasonal activity picks up. Okay, so expected na mga analysts na magre-recover ito kahit papaano fourth quarter of 2025, no? So abangan natin kung magiging okay ba, no, yung report na ilalabas sa fourth quarter, kasi kapag hindi, medyo magiging negative effect pa rin naman ito sa kumpanya. So next slide tayo. Profitability metrics. Okay, so dito tayo mag-focus, no? Net profit margin nasa 15.1%. Okay? And yung kanyang EBIT to EBITDA in 9 months of 2025, that's 11.13 billion pesos. Okay? Dito tayo mag-focus guys sa ROE and ROIC. More than 20% ang kanyang ROIC. High capital returns and also efficient sila sa allocation ng kanilang capital. Okay? Sabihin, maganda yung mga tinutubo na kanilang mga investment. In terms of cost efficiency, marketing spend per user decrease as brand equity solidifies. Okay? Number 2 is scalability. Yung kanilang digital infrastructure supports volume growth with minimal capex. Kaya dahil nga sila ay nasa digital platform, mababa lamang yung kanilang capex. Kapag create na sila ng system, di ba? Hindi naman yan lagi mini-maintain, di ba? Hindi naman yan lagi ini-improve. Talagang naandyan na yan, intact na yan. Hindi na siya talagang capital intensive. Now, yung kanilang operating leverage, platform-based model allow revenue to scale faster than the fixed cost. Okay? Yun nga, katulad nga sinabi natin kanina, as a user base expand, incremental margin improve due to minimal variable cost for digital transactions. So this is the reason kung bakit sobrang laki ng kanilang ROIC and ROE. Okay? Next slide. Balance sheet strength. Okay, so if we are going to focus today, ang kanilang total cash ay nasa 20.25 billion pesos. Highly defensive portion ito. So, maganda ang pinapakitang performance ng kumpanya. Okay, so ibig sabihin hindi malaki yung kanilang utang. So if you are going to compare, no, nung 2022 yung kanilang cash ay nasa 4.5, utang nasa 3.8. Okay? 2023 nasa 9.2, 3.2. 2024 16 billion or 17 billion to 2 or 3 billion pesos lamang. Now, in a 9 month of 2025, nasa 20 billion and ang utang lamang nila ay nasa 2.5 billion pesos. So, ibig sabihin, kayang punan talaga ang kanilang utang kung tutuusin ng ilang times, no? Halos 6 times, 8 times, kayang punan yung kanilang utang. Now, in terms of the debt to equity, minimal lamang ito. Nasa 10% lamang. So, ang kanyang interest coverage ay nasa 86 times. So, ibig sabihin, kayang makatulog sa gabi ng mahimbing ng company ito kasi kayang-kaya niyang punan yung mga bills na dumarating sa kanya. Okay? So, in personal life natin, kaya natin makatulog din sa gabi ng mahimbing kasi kaya natin punan yung monthly bills na dumarating sa atin. Mga ilaw, kuryente, di ba? Mga ganan. Kayang-kaya niyang punan. This is the example of balance sheet fortress. So kaya naman, isa sa mga rason kung bakit ako pumasok dito because of this data, yung balance sheet fortress na nila, no? Capital allocation impact, yung dividend sustainability. Bakit? Kasi nga, kayang-kaya nilang punan yung kanilang utang and also yung kanilang dividendo gamit lamang yung cash. Imagine na hindi pa natin sinasama dito also yung free cash flow. Okay? Again, yung free cash flow may 5 kaparaan para gamitin yan. Diba? Kasama na doon dividendo, utang, pag-improve sa business, pag-acquire ng mga business, and many more. Okay? Another is M&A optionality. Yung excess liquidity provides dry powder for strategic tech, yun nga, pag-acquire nila without na mangutang na. So, ibig sabihin, internally, kaya nilang mag-expand nang sila mismo gamit yung kanilang pera lamang. Another is crisis resilience of today. No, because of their fortress of balance sheet, meron silang buffer against regulatory shock and economic downturns. This is the advantage today ng Plus. Bakit? Kasi nga sobrang ganda na kanyang performance. Although na kahit na bumagsak o lumiit ang kanyang revenue today, meron na kasi silang buffer dyan. Okay, so to sustain the shock of emotions of investors. Now, another is cash flow analysis. Now, pumunta na tayo dito. Yung kanilang operating cash flow, ito, ay nasa 13.4 billion. Okay? Ang kanilang free cash flow today ay nasa 9.8 billion pesos. So, ibig sabihin, sobrang liit lamang na kanilang capex. This imply, no, ibig sabihin, kumbaga sa tao, sa atin, sa personal life natin, itong free cash flow, ito yung natitirang savings natin sa ating sweldo. After ng sweldo, yung savings ay yung free cash flow sa business. Okay? Yung free cash flow margin nasa 13.6% pa rin. Expending efficiently. Okay? Yung free cash flow per share growth, nasa 38.8%. Okay, so over the years, no, makikita mo naman na talagang pinaprioritize nila na parang positive ba kanilang free cash flow lagi, no? At maganda ang separation. No, pinapakita dito sa atin na talagang nagfo-focus sila today sa kanilang management. So, yung pinaka-insight natin dito, yung kanyang cash conservation efficiency. Ibig sabihin, yung high conversion nila of EBITDA to operating cash flow driven by season-based revenue model, prepaid instant installment, no, also, and minimal inventory requirement. Capex dynamic also. Yung capital intensity remains moderate as platform infrastructure scale. Maintain capex is a low relative to revenue growth, supporting margin expansion. This is the another highlights of their cash flows. Another is capital allocation capacity. Dahil sa strong na kanilang free cash flow today, kaya nilang suportahan yung dividendo na mayroon lamang payouts na nasa 27%. So, ibig sabihin, sa natitirang after mabawas yung 27%, so bahala na sila doon sa natira kung ano yung gagawin nila. Expand sa business, pang-improve sa business, pang-bili ng mga new brands or new land, no? It's up to them. Okay? So, ibig sabihin malaki pa rin talaga ang separation. Okay? Hindi lamang sila nagpo-focus sa dividendo. Another, next slide is valuation. Dito na tayo sa valuation metrics natin. Okay, so in terms of PE ratio, nasa 5.4 times nga ito. Nasa undervalued ito because yung history average ay nasa 8.5. Okay, sa company. In terms of forward PE ay nasa 4.2 times yung estimate. It implies 28% upside in terms of forward PE ratio. So yung dividend yield kahit papaano yung maganda ang pinapakita dito, mataas. EV to sales nasa 0.58 times. DIF value meron today ang kumpanya. Okay? So, yung valuation context ko dito, yung implied fair value ko ay nasa 24 to 28 pesos per share. So this is the range of fair value na nakuha ko. Sabihin para sa akin, nasa undervalued stage itong kumpanya. Now, in terms of valuation naman, maliban sa multiple valuation na create natin, valuation versus the industry or mga competitors nito. Okay? So, if we are going to focus on PE ratio comparison, yun nga, 5.2 times, yung PH consumer average nasa 18.5 times, the regional gaming nasa 26.3 times, the global digital entertainment nasa 22.1 times. So dito sinisignify na nasa undervalued stage ang kumpanya in terms of multiple valuation internationally. Now in terms of enterprise value versus sales, makikita mo dito na 70% versus the sector. Okay? Yung PEG ratio niya, so itong PEG ratio ay nakuha natin ito kay Peter Lynch. So ibig sabihin, sabi ni Peter Lynch, basta hindi lalagpas ng 1, nasa undervalued ang kanyang performance o ang kanyang valuation. Okay? So dito nasa 0.24 siya, so nasa undervalued siya. So para sa akin, meron siyang upside potential na 75%. Okay? So you have to understand na itong valuation na ginawa natin, yung 24 to 28 pesos per share na intrinsic value, this may computation. Okay, so bahala ka kung mag-compute ng intrinsic value nito. It's up to you. Kung gusto mo gamit yung ating intrinsic value calculator, nasa ating PSE Wire Academy lamang yan. Puntahan mo para magamit mo yan. Okay, so now punta tayo dito sa growth driver naman. So ano nga ba yung catalyst for Plus? Number 1 is yung deepening engagement. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Yung target nito is higher ARPU and frequency. So, ang ibig sabihin, yung kailangan nilang i-enhance yung user retention through advanced personalization and social gaming features, moving from transaction-based to session-based loyalty. Number 2 is payment ecosystem. So, nagkaroon ng issues pagdating sa mga payment system ito sa Ili Wallet. So, kailangan ng company na expand yung friction-free deposit or withdrawal sa mga channels ng payment system nila. To a recent partnership with Bayad widen access point beyond traditional e-wallet. Okay? Another is innovation. Scaling game zone with new micro-entertainment format, leveraging GME network partnership also for mass market content integration. Okay? Another is the data and AI optimization. So leveraging 20 million plus user profile to drive algorithmic recommendation, predictive churn management, and target incentive. So sa mga information technology dyan, alam na alam nila yan kung ano ibig sabihin yan. Okay? Ito naman, last ay ang institutional re-rating. Transition from speculative gaming stock to dividend compounder. Attracting long-term institutional capital as yield stabilize. Okay? So kung gusto talaga ng Plus na maka-attract ng maraming investors, ng mga big investors, 'di ba? Instead na maging speculative stock ito, 'di ba? Kailangan, 'di ba, bigyan din ng focus sa pagbibigay ng dividendo. Kasi yun nga, malaki ang kanilang malaki yung kanilang buffer today in terms of the free cash flow, in terms of their cash position, 'di ba? Kahit paano taas-tasan nila yung pagbibigay ng dividendo. And paunti-unti na may stable ito na gumanda. Kasi kahabang gumaganda yung dividendo na ibinibigay nila, maraming ma-attract na investors sa kumpanya. So, competitive advantage, dito na tayo sa advantage ng kumpanya. Ano yung moat? Okay, so medyo mahirap kasi gawin itong platform na to ginawa natin. So dito ako natagalan sa pag-create ng data na to. Okay. So, DigiPlus platform, ayan. So ito yung platform and tech, network effect, and regulatory barrier. Okay. Na pag-usapan natin to, no? In terms of regulatory license, makikita mo dito, yung kanilang operating with PAGCOR strict framework creates high barrier for new entrants and illegal operators. Compliant cost is a moat. Okay, sabihin, syempre, license sila. Okay, license. So, kung titignan natin, marami yung mga nagkalat today. Minsan pa nga may mga influencer na nagpo-promote ng sugal na illegal pala. Okay? Dahil sila ay legal, may papeles sila, 'di ba? That's a moat para sa kumpanya. Another is network ecosystem. 'Di ba? Yung kanilang integration with payment system like GCash, Maya, Bayad, and media partners like GMA creates friction ecosystem that lacks the users. Ibig sabihin kapag sobrang kilala yung brand, 'di ba? Marami yung user na pumapasok diyan. Another is yung data and personalization. So years of behavioral data enable predictable engagement and risk management that new competitors cannot easily replicate. So this is the another moat ng kumpanya. And last ay ang habit and brand. Okay? So daily session habit and brand trust like Bingo Plus create high switching cost to move to unproven platform. Okay? So syempre kapag kilala na yung brand, talagang ginagamit ng karamihan, di ba? Yung mga tao, karamihan, doon lamang talaga sila pumupunta at ayaw nila pumunta sa mga ibang brand na hindi kilala. Syempre, kung mayroong competitive advantage or moat, meron din tayo syempre risk factor today. So, ito kailangan nating i-assess. Okay? So, if itong nakikita mo today ay hindi ka malaki yung risk para sa'yo, wag mo na ipasukin. Wag mo na pasukin itong si DigiPlus. Okay? Number 1 is the regulatory policy. So, katulad nga sinabi natin kanina, pagdating lamang sa link ng payment system, ano nangyari, di ba? Sobrang bagsak na kanyang share price. So, very sensitive itong kumpanya sa mga regulatory issues. So, this is the primary risk ng kumpanya, regulatory issues. Kaya nakita mo, sobrang bagsak na kanyang share price today because of their problem. Okay? Another is intensify competition. Entry of new local and international player into the Philippine digital gaming space. Okay? Nakakapagbigay ito or syempre nakakapagbawas ito ng mga users sa loob ng kumpanya, sa loob ng platform ng DigiPlus. So yung mitigation dito, dahil nga ang DigiPlus ay yung kauna-unahang nag-introduce ng online gaming platform, di ba? Sila yung talagang kilala. Meron silang data advantage na exclusive content, partnership also, and high switching cost. Platform and cybersecurity. So operational ito. Syempre, yung potential for data breach, okay, yung attacks and platform downtime affect revenue yan. So, yung mitigation dito, continuous investment in enterprise-grade security, redundancy system, and ISO certification. Another is social, ano ibig sabihin nito? Public perception regarding responsible gaming and social impact. Okay? Yun nga, katulad nga sinabi natin, no, marami yung nalulong sa sugal sa paglabas ng online platform kasi nga kahit sa bahay ka lang, kaya mo na magsugal. Kahit saan, di ba? Sa amin nga, no, sa aming construction business, yung mga tao namin doon ay nagsusugal. I think sa kanila din ata ang parang scatter, no? Sa kanila ba to, scatter? Yun, yung mga tao ay nag-scatter. So we as an owner of a business, syempre kailangan namin ukausapin yung mga tao na maging responsible sa paggamit ng platform, no? So dito, sa ating chart na ginawa, makikita mo yung high risk, syempre, cyber threats kasi nga nasa online to. Marami, no? Marami yung pwedeng manghack sa data sa application ng kumpanya. And also, regulatory changes. Ito yung pinakakailangan pagtuunan mo ng pansin lagi dito sa business. Okay? Now, next slide tayo. In terms of bear case, mayroon tong 20% probability na mangyari. Ibig sabihin, kapag yung regulatory headwind persist, ibig sabihin, naging mas strict pa yung payment sa mga payment channel, restriction sa pag-deposit. Okay? So yung cost kasi niyan, yung revenue niyan ay babagsak. Dadahan-dahan na magbagsak. Competitive pressure, compressed margin also. Okay? Sa pamagitan niyan, yung valuation multiply, compress further to 4 times PE ratio and lower earnings base. Okay? So yung downside protection nito is net cash balance. Dahil nga meron silang 20 billion, they can act as a floor preventing step capital loss. Okay? Dahil nga meron silang agad-agad 20 billion na pwedeng ipang-deploy. And also meron silang free cash flow na malaki din. So, para sa akin, it implies to babagsak kung ganito yung mangyari, babagsak ang kanyang presyo to 11.5 pesos to 13 pesos per share. Now, dito naman tayo sa base case. Yung chances na mangyari ito ay 50% probability. Now, kapag nagkaroon ng gradual recovery yung kanilang payment system, kapag sa fourth quarter ay medyo naging mas tumaas ang kanyang performance compared to the third quarter, medyo okay dyan. No? Magiging okay o mag-i-stabilize ang kanyang share price. Revenue growth normalize in a mid-teens 15 to 18%. Margins remain stable at 15 to 16 EBITDA. So, and also yung kanyang valuation in terms of PE ratio, babalik to 8 to 10 times PE ratio. As a consistency is proven kapag nangyari itong recovery ng kanilang payment friction. And also kapag ma-maintain yung modest growth ng 30% payout ratio. So, kapag nangyari ito, na mga assumptions natin, ang ating implied value dito ay nasa 24 to 28 pesos per share. Ito naman yung pinaka bull case scenario, yung 30% probability na mangyari. Okay? Number 1 is yung faster ARPU left via personalization and rapid adoption of game zone micro-entertainment. Another is pag nagkaroon ng operating leverage, kapag yung kanilang EBITDA ay nag-expand to 18 to 20% on scale efficiencies, and also kapag ang market ay nagre-rate na nagkaroon ng growth compounder itong kumpanya, ang mangyayari dyan, yung kanilang dividend payout ratio ay mag-increase ng 40 to 50 times as capex need to decline. Okay? So yung implied value dito ay nasa 35 to 42 pesos per share. Pero para sa akin, mas reasonable itong probability na naandito today sa base case scenario. Okay? So, yung weight average target ay nasa 26.85 pesos based sa mga na-compute natin and sa past mga multiples na nakuha natin. Okay, dito na tayo. No? So, the core opportunity, ito yung core opportunity. DigiPlus is a mispriced digital platform disguised as a gaming stock, offering venture-like growth with utility-like cash flow at a distressed valuation. Okay? So, implied upside nasa 75 and risk rating natin nasa moderate. Kapag ikaw ay merong ownership dito or nagbabalak ka, tignan mo to ng mga checklist na nandito. Number 1 is yung growth momentum. 30% revenue growth with structural tailwinds, and also profitability profile, industry-leading margin, and scale efficiency. As of today kasi sila yung pinaka number 1 na andito. Number 2 is cash, another is yung cash generation. Yung kanilang robust free cash flow and kayang suportahan yung kanilang dividend na binibigay and also nire-reinvest na nito, mas maganda na ganun lagi, malaki yung separation. Another is defensible moat because of their license barriers, network effect, and data scale, no? Dahil nga sa sobrang laki ng kanilang user base, di ba? This is the advantage na meron ng kumpanya. Kapag marami na pumasok at bumababa yung kanilang user base at bumababa itong revenue nila, medyo mag-slow down ang kanyang share price. In terms of valuation safety, nagtitrade ito to 5 times PE ratio with net cash position. So this is the safety net naman ng kumpanya. Okay? Now, in terms of scale digital platform, no, not just a casino operator, but a tech-enabled ecosystem with recurring high-frequency user engagement. And also, strong fundamentals because of their triple-digit growth history na 20% plus na ROIC, ROE, merong malakas na cash balance, merong balance sheet fortress, advantage ito ng kumpanya today. Asymmetric risk and reward. Market pricing reflect extreme because of the regulatory issues while ignoring proven execution and growth. Another is yung balance sheet optionality. Because of their 20 billion cash pile, diba? They can enable technology investment, aggressive capital returns to shareholders, diba? This is the advantage of Digit Plus as of the moment. Okay, so this is the last slide natin, yung data summary and source and legal disclaimer natin. Okay, so pakibasa na lamang ito. And ayan. So guys, medyo mahirap-hirap yung paggawa natin itong ating slides. So hopefully na-appreciate nyo yung paggawa natin. Thank you sa pag-request nyo, no? Also, kapag meron kayong mga request ng mga stocks, comment lamang nyo sa babaan, gagawan natin ito ng videos. This is Pesi Warrior, lagi nagpapaalala na invest wisely and see you on the other side.